Good morning. It's Monday, November 2nd. I'm Catherine Ross, and I'm joined by Jim Cramer. Jim, we are just days away from the election. So how is Action Alerts Plus going to approach the start of election week?
Well, look, we're pretty troubled by the action here, and the reason I say that is because the companies that should be doing well, like an Amazon, are down really badly. Uh, the companies that are going up are companies that tend to be going into recession, or alternatively, a belief that the election is going to just be uncontested. So, in other words, there's a good news feeling. It's kind of like what was going on in the last half hour of Friday, where the market really rallied big, and I think people didn't pay attention to it enough. We're minus 5.8 on the oscillator, so that's the most oversold we've been in ages. I think there's a belief that maybe there won't be an election that can be contested, meaning that either Trump wins or that Biden wins big. I mean, those are the Venn diagram is Biden doesn't win big, challenged. Trump wins big, not challenged. Biden wins big, not challenged, or the challenge doesn't mean much. And so I think people are really betting at this point that somebody's going to win big, and it'll be a transfer of power that's easy if Biden wins. And I think that's a little too. I think it's too fairy tale. So I don't like this rally.
Jim, let's talk a little bit more about this rally. So far, this election week is off to a pretty positive start. I mean, we've got the Dow up about 1.7%, the S&P up about 1.4%, and the Nasdaq pushing up just above 1% as of 10:34 a.m. So, for investors who might have been expecting a negative start to the week, should this change their approach to the markets?
Well, look, I mean, I think we're oversold. I tend not to when we're more than a -5. My rules, which is just over multiple years, say don't sell. You should be buying. It is so hard not to sell into. I mean, I'm looking at some stocks that are just up ridiculously. And I mean, Waste Management. Okay, here's a good example. We bought some waste. We heard over and over again that Waste Management was going to miss. Well, Waste Management not only didn't miss, but it made it. Now they're on tonight on Mad Money, and the stock's up $4. Now, do you want to sell that? Well, but maybe this is the first day of a very big rally. And that's certainly possible, given the fact that like all the people who said it's going to be that it's going to miss have to come out tomorrow and say, hey, you know what? It didn't miss. But then again, what you don't want to do is have like a Starbucks, which is just should have rallied. It's not rallying. I mean, Amazon should have rallied, not rallying. So, I mean, there's a few stocks that are a couple flies in the ointment for action alerts. But in general, I mean, when you see something like Waste Management, when it's been so oversold, believe it or not, up 4 is not enough. You'll get some upgrades tomorrow. You get some people raise numbers, and tomorrow's going to be a good day. And that's kind of the pattern. So you don't want to lose the stock just because it's up a lot.
Jim, should Robinhood investors consider a stock like Plug Power?
Absolutely. I mean, when you have Linde, which is one of the largest gas companies, meaning industrial gases, when you have them decide to go in all in California, and now it's only for 1,900 vehicles, but at the same time, that means it's a suggestion that hydrogen is very real. 1,900 vehicles a day will be able to be fueled. Well, what that says is that what Andy Marsh has been saying, which is that it's Plug Power, green hydrogen. It is time for green hydrogen. I think it really is. I mean, this Linde plant is green hydrogen, and I didn't think they would come in with it. I know that when I spoke with the CEO, it wasn't a guarantee. No one really, I pressed him about whether he was going to do anything in California. It didn't seem like he was going to. And that's Steve Angel. I am very impressed. Steve, oh, geez, he's got it. Lynn up 6 points on this. Everyone should be watching green hydrogen. It's one of the most amazing themes because it takes all the natural gas we have, and we have a lot of natural gas, and gets rid of the pollutants. And we have enough natural gas to be able to run everything. Now, there was a time when we were thinking about running cars and trucks on liquefied natural gas or compressed natural gas. The problem is that's not clean. We're talking about green hydrogen, and we're talking about it being now. And Plug Power has a lot of contracts with the FedExes of the world, with the Walmarts of the world. And you bring Plug Power in when you're trying to get to carbon neutral. So think of it as a carbon neutral stock.
Jim, looking over at some popular makeup stocks, we've got Estee Lauder, which beat analyst expectations, and the stock is only up around 27% in the past year. Is this a stock to buy?
Yes, absolutely. Because Fabrizio Freda, I mean, you understand, Fabrizio is really one of the great geniuses, but he had two businesses. They have the cosmetics business, and then they have a business that is to clean your skin. Now, the cosmetic business was on fire because of selfie. The clean the skin business had been bad, but now because of these, you have a situation where you got maskne. Now, maskne is masked. That's mask acne. And one of the things that's happened that they've talked about, and I spoke with them this morning, is that acne is so bad among mask wearers that there really is no choice. You have to use very good cleaning in order to be able to make it so you don't break out. Also, there was a lot of beauty salons were closed, so people don't go to beauty salon. So you want to do everything yourself, and then of course Zoom. Zoom accentuates everything. So you just had to clean your face better in order to not get acne from when you take your mask off, and that really, really helped their sales. Now, I happen to think, remember, I'm doing this contest, which is xprize.org/mask. We put up a lot of money to get some young people. We'll be doing a Shark Tank thing about which ones soon to get young people to get a mask that people wear. On my Twitter file, there's a lot of people, Catherine, who simply keep pointing out that such and such a country doesn't wear masks and they're doing okay. Well, obviously, China, Singapore, and South Korea, their economies are on fire. Because there's no COVID. And the reason why there's no COVID is because of masks. And what's amazing to me is that the anti-mask people, like, how could there really be, but there are, keep pointing, like they point to Sweden. There's a huge spike in Sweden. Or they point to these states where there's there's not a lot of COVID. Remember when Florida opened up? Florida's terrible. So if you think that masks are going to continue, as I do, Estee Lauder up 5 is a buy.
I was reading your Real Money column this morning and something stood out to me. You say that the possibility of a partial shutdown under Biden and an open economy under Trump both work,
Right.
but that the 14 million hospitality workers will still be unemployed. How does this
Yes.
impact investors?
Great question. Sadly, it doesn't. And if there's stimulus, I think that both sides are going to do stimulus after the election. So what will happen is those people will get money. That's my belief. I know Secretary Mnuchin feels strongly that way. I know Speaker Pelosi feels that way. But there just became a logjam because of the election. Those people will get, they'll be compensated for not working. So it is, I don't think the economy will skip a beat. Now, that said, the jobs are going to disappear. And the reason I say they're going to disappear is that it's pretty clear. No, it's very clear that the single worst place in terms of getting COVID is a bar. Second is a restaurant. So you have a couple of restaurant stocks that had great numbers at the end of their quarter. Cheesecake Factory, Texas Roadhouse, these had unbelievable numbers. And I got to tell you, Catherine, don't own those stocks. Do not own those stocks, because if Biden wins and the scientists say that this is where the problems are, you're going to regret. Now, in that article, I didn't point blank say that because I don't want people shorting these stocks, but I do think that I mentioned that the restaurant stocks, I think that the restaurant stocks are in real trouble if you think Biden's going to win. But obviously, if you think Trump's going to win, you're going to be steamrolled, and they'll take those much, much higher. I mean, Cheesecake Factory could really go back to where it was. Cheesecake Factory was almost in default, for heaven's sake. They actually had a default moment, but it's really a great thing to own. And a lot of this, Catherine, is, are people scared? Are people scared? It seems like it's almost as if you're for Trump, you're not scared, and if you're for Biden, you are. And I don't think that's true, but that's how it feels.
Jim, Clorox, it has definitely been able to handle this this pandemic. So they also beat earnings expectations. Is this a stock to buy following this quarter?
Well, it's up 11. I have Linda Rendell on tonight. Remember they have divisions like the charcoal division, which people grill outside, which is fantastic. They have a division that is clean water. People like that. But then obviously, I mean, they have this division about cleaning things, and Clorox is extraordinary. Now, this stock started going down, Catherine, because people felt, you know what, the pandemic is going to reach a conclusion. Everybody has all the Clorox they need. All right. Well, it turns out that that the pandemic is in another wave, and so all the companies that were on call before are back, and this is a pantry stock. I think that everybody understands that Clorox wipes are a very valuable thing to have. There is a belief that they do a lot of cleaning of everything. So if you do want to take a vacation, believe it or not, you bring it. You do a Airbnb, and you bring your Clorox, and you wipe down everything. And that's the vacation that people can be taking in this country.
And I'm already seeing tweets about Clorox products being sold out and possibly not even being able to be restocked until this spring. So, I mean, what do you think
Yes.
about this? Is this
I mean,
long
I
term?
tried to get Clorox, and there was the previous CEO said, "Listen, Jim, I can send you stuff." I said, "No, I don't want to abuse the privilege." But we were desperate. We were desperate, and my wife found some. I don't know where the hell she found some. But we felt that you had to have. We live separately, and we live separately because we don't want to. You know, if one of us gets it, we don't want the other to get it. So we have both places because remember we were married later in life after going out for uh, since 2005 we got married, and what happens is we have two separate houses. So both houses are stocked with Clorox and Lysol, so that if something happens, we can take care of ourselves. And that's really we were desperate to have both houses stocked. You need your Clorox. So the fact that it is up 11 is not enough. It can go up more.
Inspire is paying $11.3 billion for Dunkin'. Do you like this deal? And I also have to ask,
Yes.
as an investor in Starbucks, are you concerned?
No, I don't think that they can. Starbucks is a different kind of company. I see the stock down, Starbucks, because of Dunkin'. I think that's silly. I care more about, Jesus, down 50 cents. What the hell's that? I mean, I care more about the fact that they have China. I mean, that's what you should be thinking of when you have Starbucks. If you think Biden's going to win, then it's really good. Dunkin' Donuts is not really a solid competitor, but Dunkin' Donuts does not really emphasize eating at a Dunkin' Donuts. There's only a couple tables. Everyone buys the coffee and they leave. And that is a great model for anybody in this era of COVID because they don't have the tables. I mean, one of the things that is so daunting for any restaurant is you can't have a bar and you have to have right now the average restaurant has 50% of the tables. I think that if Biden wins, the scientists are going to recommend 25. If it's 25, that's going to be the death knell of a lot of different companies.
Jim, Jonathan Robinson on Twitter is asking, and I quote, from September to December 2000, the S&P 500 declined by 17.5%, largely due to the contested Bush v. Gore election. To what extent have investors and markets priced in the likelihood of a contested election during the past 2 weeks?
I felt it by last week, they had factored it in. And then I think that what happened is that there are a lot of people who feel that the polls say that it's almost impossible for Biden to lose. So then they started thinking, well, wait a second. In a Biden landslide, will the president be able to contest it? And the answer is no, because in the end, landslide's a landslide. Pennsylvania, Michigan, maybe Florida. So there's a belief that, well, wait a second, we could really get hung if we're short this thing, and this market turns out to be, and it turns out to be a landslide, and the president, even though he wants to contest it, he can't. It's not worth it. Like let's say Biden wins many states, and Pennsylvania is late counting, and the president wants to challenge it because of Pennsylvania. It's not enough electoral college votes. So I think today is a belief. And by the way, I've never said that you can call it. I've never, and I'm not going to because it's 2016. But there's a belief by a lot of buyers that this market is too dangerous to short. And that I agree with.
And for more on Jim's perspective on the markets, head on over to our exclusive members-only daily show on ActionAlertsPlus.com.